All right. So I'm back. In the last video, I told y'all that I was thinking about starting this whole artist way thing. Well, I started it. I didn't go by the book yet. I think I'm gonna still go by the book, but I just wanted to go ahead and just start now. And I was able to pull it up on my phone, so I figured, fuck it, why not? But today is week one. Um, that's basically what I'm just gonna be talking about here, just like how I'm feeling in week one. This is literally like the first day. Uh, I did the morning pages. Wait, hold on. Is this? Hold on. Wait. Sorry. Yeah. So I did the morning pages. I don't know if y'all can see that, but I did that and stuff and doing some of the exercises. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't feel like an immense like change. I mean, when I was doing the morning pages earlier today, um, I was I can't lie. I will say that my mind did feel clearer. I did feel like I didn't have so many thoughts just running through my head, especially when it came to you know picking up this book and everything, or this course, because I did feel like I had a lot of resistance. I did feel like I had a lot of just thoughts about it and skepticisms about it, like if it was gonna really work, or was this all just bullshit, or am I gonna end up doing it wrong and it won't be effective and everything. And even now I'm still feeling like maybe I am doing it wrong because I don't feel immense change. But um I mean, I'm just gonna basically just thug it out. At the end of the day, I'm just gonna say fuck it and just start messy and just hopefully just get better as time progresses. But I just figured I'd go ahead and start now because it is a new week, and I did keep telling myself that I wanted to start fresh, like on a Monday or something like that. So there's that and everything. I haven't got into week two. I don't know if I'm doing this video too early because it's literally like the first day and everything. But overall, yeah. I mean, I guess I could talk about what the book was saying, and what I came up with in my book and everything. So in week one, it was talking about hold on, I gotta find it. Wait. Give me a second. Give me a second. Damn, I can't even find the title of this shit. Oh, okay, there we go. Recovering a sense of safety. It basically in the beginning of the book, it just basically talks about recovering a sense of safety and you know working through those negative beliefs that we have inside of us, or that I have inside of myself. Um, I'm so sorry. This is like, and I'm low key kind of drunk, so this is new to me. I'm not used to talking on the camera, so just bear with me. But basically, I put it. Basically, in the book, it said to write down three creative enemies, and I put my Aunt Monette. I hope if she ever sees this video, that's gonna be. I don't know how she's gonna feel about it, but I highly doubt she ever will. But that's not the point. But I put my Aunt Monette. I put this bitch ass nigga from high school, and I put this girl from Twitter named Mel. Hold on, let me change the lighting in here. Okay, yeah, that's better. Matter of fact, yeah, okay, that's make better. Okay, so yeah, I put my Aunt Monette, this bitch ass nigga from high school, and this girl named Mel from Twitter. Um, so I guess I can just dive in deep with my Aunt Monette. I have an aunt. Her name is Monette, and for the longest, she's been kind of like my like I don't know what to call it. She's like the closest family member that I have. Like, out of all my family members and everything, she's like the closest aunt that I'm close with and everything. She's the only aunt that I'm close with. And for the longest, she always kind of knew that I wanted to do music. She always knew, that I, had had a desire to create and everything, just from any level, whether it be music, whether it be writing, or whether it be writing stories or making films, cartoon animation, just all these things. She always knew I was a creative kid. And as much as I can say that, she would accept that part and aspect about me, she would also just sort of dim it, if that makes sense. Like, for lack of better words, she just used to always kind of bring me down. Like, she would always just make me feel like it was just certain things in my life that I just couldn't achieve or just couldn't do or just couldn't have simply because I'm me. And maybe she didn't maybe mean it like that, and she didn't say that verbatim, but at times that's just how it felt. And I remember it was this one time where I wanted to do this video. I had this video idea, right? And I remember I got inspired because I saw Wabi and Namir doing it. It was like when he was posting videos of him rapping on Instagram, and I was just looking like, man, I could do that too. Like, and I was really shy, so I just thought that me taking this little risk and doing this little project or whatever, me just recording a video of myself and putting it on social media would be good for me to get out of my shell, to get out of my comfort zone. And I didn't want to tell anybody but her, because she was the only one that knew about my creative endeavors and everything. And I remember I told her, and she was with it. She was on board with it. She wanted to do it. She wanted to help me out with it. And I think that following week we were planning on going to Galveston. We were going to Galveston, Texas. And when we were in the car and everything, we were talking about it. I even rapped it to her. I made this rap. It was like it was a freestyle over Justin Bieber's "Love Yourself," and I wrote it while I was in school. And I rapped it to her and everything, and she seemed like she liked it and everything. And so when it came time to record the video and everything, I just remember that she just had this really like fucked up attitude. Like, she just had this attitude like she didn't want to do it, or she didn't really believe in it, or she didn't really like care too much about it, which was kind of weird because before she seemed like she was on board with it. And I just remember we were just arguing. We just ended up arguing about creative differences because she had this whole idea of like wanting to like put it on a beach. Like, she wanted me to be like rapping the rap that I wrote at the beach, and I was like, that's not what I was looking for. That's not necessarily what I was trying to do. I was thinking about going more of a different route, but due to how she is as a person, it doesn't really go that way. So long story short, we get into an argument. We end up not doing the video together. And I remember I just felt like lost. I was just like, well, damn, like, how the fuck am I going to do this video? Like, she's the only person that I knew that could help me get it right or get it to the way that I wanted. And now, we're not even doing it no more. Like, the whole idea is ruined. So I remember when I came back from Galveston, we came back from Galveston or whatever, I still had the video idea in my mind. At this point, I was kind of just like, man, fuck this video. Like, I don't even want to do it anymore. And I remember I was sitting at home and I was just thinking about it. I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to just record it myself. And at the time, I had this fucking shitty ass Android that my mom had got me, and like the camera quality was trash. Like, it just wasn't like what I ideally would have had pictured. So I do it. I took the little phone, I set it up, played the beat, and just ended up just rapping it. And then I looked at the video, whatever, and it came out kind of decent. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna just do it, call it a day, and just post that shit. I posted it on Twitter, and then something in my brain was just like, nigga, post that shit on Instagram. You want to post that shit on Instagram, just go ahead and post it on Instagram. So I did. So I posted it on Instagram, and it blew up. Like, people was really fucking with it. Like, people from school was commenting on it. Like, people who had never talked to me before was just seeing the video and was just, was just showing it mad love. So it was that moment where it was just kind of like, it taught me to just really trust myself and trust in my ideas and trust in when I have an idea that I think could actually work. And I mean, granted, I wasn't even thinking about trying to like get any recognition. I just wanted to do it. I just wanted to do it, just to do it, just to get out of my comfort zone. But, you know, the universe does what it does best, and it comes and assists you, when you put the work in. And I think that's the main thing here, like, with this book is my goal with even starting this course is to stop worrying so much about the validation. Stop worrying so much about the recognition. I'm not going to cap. I want to make it in music bad, and I mean, granted, my work ethic, isn't showing that. And I feel like there could be more I could be doing as far as like promoting myself and putting myself out there more with the music. And I'm working on it. But, I do want to make it in music, and I do want to, be able to do this for a living. And it's so difficult, and I feel like it's been so difficult for me for all these years, because even though, I say that, and even though, there's this part of me that believes that can actually be possible for me, there's this other side of me that I feel like has just been dominating not only just my creative side, but just all aspects of my life that make me feel like I'm just not good enough, that make me feel like I'm just handicapped. Like I need other people in order to be all right in my life. I need other people to take care of me, or I need other people to help me, because I'm not smart enough to, be able to think my way out of situations, or to avoid being in bad positions and everything. And I think that it manifests over the music. It makes me think that, maybe my music is just good and not great. And I think that's a big thing for me, just feeling like, yeah, you make good, I make good music, but, I don't make something that can stick with people, or something that can be timeless, something that can be, remembered. It's hard to believe that me, knowing myself all these years, all these things that I've tried out in my life that have failed, all the times that I have failed, all the times where I may have thought that I was, I had something with a certain avenue or a certain lane in my life, and it turns out I didn't. And like I said, I'm working on this mindset of saying that I'm not the most luckiest person, because I feel like that is another in the book, it calls them blurts and everything. But I feel like that's another blurt that, holds me back a lot in my life, is feeling like I'm just not this lucky guy, feeling like that I'm just prone to bad luck. And I want to fix that. I want to fix that. And, with this book, Julia, I'm hoping that I can dig a little deeper into myself, in a creative aspect, because I feel like I never really talked a lot or dove this much deep into how I feel about myself as a creative, as an artist. It was always just kind of something that was kind of tucked in the back. So this is kind of my first time really trying to dig deep into my creative blocks, and what's, my relationship with my creativity, and, the negative beliefs that I hold that I feel like are kind of keeping me from reaching my potential, or, getting to the place that I want to be as a creative, So, yeah. The second one was this bitch ass nigga from high school. So, like I told y'all before, right? I made a video of me rapping, posted it on social media, and people were fucking with it at school. Well, after I did that, and after I saw that, people was actually fucking with, my videos and everything like that, I went on and posted another one. And I posted this one, and it did pretty damn crazy for my expectations. It wasn't like no crazy ass like blow up or anything. Like I didn't become famous in my city or anything, but I definitely felt like it, because when I made this video, I did not think it was going to get the reception that it did. I did not think people were going to like share it and show it love the way they was doing and everything. So it definitely made me feel like I had a name and that I was somebody. But, of course, with that, when people are showing you love, or sorry, I'm burping. But when people are showing you love, and when people are just giving you your props and everything. Of course, that comes with motherfuckers that's gonna hate on you. And it was this one bitch ass nigga, bro. And I don't know why this stuck with me, but I feel like it did because it was the first time that I heard somebody verbalize it. But it was this little bitch ass nigga, bro. Even when I played football, he used to always like hate on me and shit. He was like a bitch ass like underclassman. He's like a grade under me. And so I remember I was walking back to the field house. I was at football practice and I was walking into the field house and he was sitting right there and he just seen me and he was like, "Yo, Britt, you suck at rapping." And I just remember in that moment, not because I didn't know what to say. I was just like, "Nigga, fuck you," Like I just said that shit and kept walking. But in my mind, it was like, I feel like without me knowing it, I started to kind of harp on that. I started to kind of be like, well, damn, is he right? I started to feel like, does everybody feel like this? I started to feel like, is this quote unquote popularity or, little viral moment that I'm having right now? Is this all just people just, exaggerating and just hyping me up just for the fuck of it? Like, I feel like that little moment just started to really stick to me and made me start to overthink a lot of things, and it really started to make me, just really, really question myself and if I am really good enough or if this is all too good to be true. And, I never really said much about it. I never did, and even in other things, like, I used to play football as well. And, I wanted to, I didn't necessarily have dreams of going to the NFL or anything, but I wanted to play in college at least. And when I got into high school, I didn't really do to the expectations that I thought I would do. And I think, well, at least I know and feel like it was due to lack of confidence. And it was due to me just simply just not believing that I can, succeed, essentially. Like, it was just, I feel like I just have this problem with thinking that I feel like I have this problem with just thinking that I can't do anything great, or that I can't make an impact, or that I can't make an impact the way I want to make an impact. I feel like I have this idea of myself that I'm just this sad story waiting to end. Like, I always used to think that I was going to be one of those people who live like a hard life and then die. And then everybody would be like, "Oh, I wish we would have, helped him," or "I wish we would have, been there more for him." Like, I felt like my life would have been a lot of shoulda, woulda, couldas, And I don't know why I feel like I align with that so much. Maybe it's just because of all the attributes and habits that I feel like I've cultivated through life that make me feel like I'm just kind of fucked. But and even like, man, even saying that now, like, it's kind of dawning on me because it's just like, damn, like, that's the first time I've ever really like said that out loud. And I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know how to feel right now about that shit. But yeah, that was crazy. That was a crazy feeling I got just now. But yeah, it's hard for me to believe that I can do anything greater, And right now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't even see how I could ever get out of that. I don't know how I could ever get out of that mindset if I'm ever gonna even be consistent enough to, go throughout this process, of, doing this whole artist way thing enough to even see that, because I feel like I'm so sensitive to change. I'm so sensitive to, just being an unfamiliar version of myself that I don't know what's going to come with it, because sometimes I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know like if I did, reach, success with my music, I don't know what kind of person I would turn out to be. I don't know if I would be the same Brit. I don't know what would happen with my relationship between my family. I don't know what would happen with my relationship with, old friends or, people who I'm friends with now. I don't know, I don't know how life would feel. I can only go off of what I think it would feel. But at the same time, the truth is I don't really know how it would feel. Maybe it would feel the same. I don't know. But it just feels like this thing that, as much as I know it's possible, as much as I know that if I just create music, that maybe, just maybe, something will take off, it just feels so out of reach. It just feels like that's not happening. Like even now in my life, I feel like, I'm so far from, the life that I want for myself. I'm so far from that dream that I've always dreamt. I feel like I'm so far from that. The videos I've been posting on here, barely get any type of attention, and it's just one of those things where, I think my main issue is I'm always wondering, like, how could this possibly happen for me? How could this possibly, work out for me? How could this possibly go in my favor? And I think that's my issue. I'm always wondering how, because I'm a very logical person. As spiritual as I am and as creative as I am, I feel like in when I'm in times of uncertainty, if I feel like when I'm in times of, I feel like urgency and everything like that, I'm clinging on to the how. I'm clinging on how. I feel like I just have to know how. And maybe maybe that is a another blockage for me, is, always wondering how, always trying to figure out the most logical path that makes sense, that can get me to where I want to be. And sometimes you just have to, or at least what I'm learning now and what I've been pondering on lately, is that when it comes to, and I don't want to make this like a manifestation video, but I always keep reverting back to manifestation. But when you're manifesting something, or when you're bringing about, trying to bring about, something that you desire, or just basically when you are aligning yourself with the reality that you want to live, you have to let go of how it can happen for you. And that's hard, that's easier said than done, because I mean, we see it all the time, where, people will tell you, oh, I used to pray for times like this, and then they get them, and then those times aren't the times that they thought they were going to experience, or people tend to, pray to God for a miracle, or pray to God for something, and then maybe they don't get it, but they just settle for what they feel like God gave to them instead, and I have a very, very, like, weird, unique relationship with God. I feel like I find myself cussing at God. Me and God talk just sporadically and regular to each other and everything. And I'm really honest with God too. So, I mean, needless to say, I just don't want to be one of those people. Okay. I was trying to sugarcoat and beat around the bush, but that's just the honest to God truth. I don't want to be one of those people who prayed for a blessing and then settled for a blessing. And I mean, that sounds bad. That sounds, like I'm being ungrateful, and I don't mean to be ungrateful, but it's just one of those things where I feel like I really have a chance to change my life. And as I get older, bro, sometimes that thought in my mind seems more and more delusional. Because, you feel like, okay, well, I'm 24, so it's like, okay, well, if I've been rapping this long and my dreams haven't happened by the time I'm 24, then it's not going to happen by the time I'm 25. It's not going to happen by the time I'm 26. It's not going to happen by the time I'm 30. So it's just like, why keep going? Like, you start to look at it as a sign. And sometimes I feel like I fall into that too. If just looking at where I am in my life right now is a sign that maybe this is all I have. Maybe this is all I'll ever have. Maybe I should be happy with this. And maybe I should. Maybe I shouldn't be so, you know, stuck on future things, that haven't even came yet. And or maybe if I focus on what I need to focus on now, maybe that can affect my future going forward. Who knows, I think that's one of the things where I think I just have to essentially just beat into myself or just learn from myself, is that I have to focus on the moment and the time and the things that I have now, and I guess just let everything else figure itself out, for lack of better words. So yeah, I kind of went off on a tangent. I'm just kind of talking in these videos. Again, I'm not so used to talking on camera, so this is all just raw and uncut, and yeah. But the third person I put is Mel from Twitter. So it was this girl on Twitter that I met named Mel. She was always kind of around and everything. She was just like this random girl that I had just met. And we were on Discord one night and we were talking. And I forgot, I think I was just playing around on my laptop or whatever, playing around with, listening to songs that I had. And I asked her if she wanted to hear some of my songs, and she did. And long story short, she didn't really like them. She told me that my songs had no substance. One song I showed her, she told me that the flow was good, but my lyrics are trash. And I'm not gonna front. In that moment, I try to kind of pretend like I was like I accepted her criticism, even though I don't really think it was criticism. But I try to kind of like pretend that like what she said didn't really affect me, but I'm not gonna cap it. Kind of did, because after she said that, I was just digging up song after song after song that I've ever made to show her, to maybe change her mind. And again, I feel like that goes back to me, like I said before, like looking for that validation externally, looking for somebody to tell me that I'm good enough, looking for somebody to remind me that I got this shit, looking for somebody to, just basically just remind me that I'm not crazy and that I actually can do this shit, because I don't know why it's so hard for me to trust myself. And maybe it's because I've been conditioned to not trust myself. I've been conditioned to trust the people outside of me. And I feel like that I never really knew how much that affected me in my life until now that I'm bringing it all up. And I'm not gonna lie, me even thinking about all the work I have to put in to get out of that mindset just feels overwhelming now, because it's like, man, it feels like I've been holding on to this so long, and it just all feels so time consuming, but you I guess you got to go through it if you really want to make change in your life, so here I am. But yeah, in that moment, it just made me feel like maybe she's right. Maybe I lost it. Maybe I once had it in high school, but now I don't no more. And that was another thought of mine too. Like maybe God took the gift away from me because he felt like I wasn't using it enough, or he felt like I wasn't serious about it. But there's this other part of me that feels like, God can't take something from you that's a gift. If it's a gift, it's yours. So, I mean, definitely I've had some people, in my life who, made me feel like I can never be more than what I am. That I'm not the type of person who can take care of himself, and not only take care of himself but take care of the people around him, or that I'm not a person that can achieve the type of success that nobody ever thought that I could achieve. I think the only person that's ever thought that I could, to be honest, is me, and that kind of sucks. But that's not the point. But I mean, it is what it is. At the end of the day, I mean, I'm here. I'm trying. I'm trying to do something right, or I'm trying to figure something out, and hopefully I will. But who's to say? But after that night, I'm not gonna lie too, like, I was so salty after that situation that I blocked her. I know that's petty, but yeah, I blocked the shit out of her after that situation, because of the simple fact I was just like, I was hurt. I was fucking hurt. Okay, I felt discouraged because, like I said, none of my songs was getting any attention at this time anyway. So it was like her saying that just further like validated what I was low key already feeling in the back of my mind anyway. So yeah, I blocked the shit out of her, and I mean, she tried to follow me back on Twitter and everything, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, that situation definitely made me feel like I was disconnected from the music. It definitely made me feel like I was just not as talented as I thought I was. And it all feels so weird saying this now. Like, I'm getting this weird feeling, and it's so weird, and I feel so embarrassed because this is happening on camera. And maybe it's just because I've never done this before, and I've never recorded myself actually talking about vulnerable things in my life, but yeah, this book so far, I think it goes into very deep detail about just how the beliefs that you hold essentially, basically the beliefs that you hold essentially, bring about the circumstances that you're in your real life. Again, like the law of attraction. And how when you talk about a higher power, creativity is one of the most intimate, connections with God. And so when you have those blockages, when you have those negative beliefs, it's like you get blocked from getting in touch with your higher creativity, with your higher creative God, and maybe that's what it's been for me, maybe, I feel like especially lately with my music and everything, I'm not able to be as vulnerable as I would like to be. I'm not as able to be, transparent and really just let everything out in the music like I would like to. So, I'm, like I said, I feel like I'm letting out too many expectations for this book, but that's just, I guess, me just saying like what I'm in it for, and what I'm looking to achieve reading this book. I want to just dive deeper and take this journey with myself, and find those negative beliefs, and reprogram my subconscious mind, my subconscious creative mind, so I'm trying to see what else I put on here. Mr. Williams, they said also name 3 champions of your creativity, so people who encourage your creativity as well. I put Mr. Williams, Risa, and A Million. I feel like out of everybody in my life, those people have always been the people that have supported my creativity. Even though I never trusted their judgment, I'm always questioning if they're actually telling the truth or keeping it real with me or not. Those are the people that I can say have always kept me going, no matter what. Mr. Williams was my 4th grade teacher. He always pushed me to do music. He always saw it in me. He always treated me like a rapper before I was ever a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Before I ever even rapped a lyric, he treated me like it. Um, Risa's always. I met Risa on Twitter too. Risa is always, you know, just supported my creativity, man. Whenever whenever I would come up with something new and everything, bro, she would give me the utmost criticism, bro. She would tell me the parts that she liked, the parts that she didn't like. She would tell me, just she would literally just make me really just want to tap into my creativity from a technical standpoint. And she would, whenever I did something right, bro, she would always give me my flowers. She would always, remind me that I was dope. She would always remind me that I got what it takes, that I can do it. And, one day I hope to, be able to be in a position to where I could give her flowers on a global standpoint. So, that's that. Then a million, we've been friends for a long time. And since the day she found out that I could do music, bro, I don't even think she even knew that I rapped, but she was always hyping me up. She's always been my cheerleader. She's always been my hype woman, my hype girl, like all of that shit, bro. She's always just, she always just made me feel like I was that nigga, bro. Like, even in times when I didn't feel like I was that nigga, even at times when I just felt like she was just straight up just lying to me, she always made an effort to remind me of who the fuck I was. And I hate that I always like kind of had this distrust for the things that she said. But if I'm being honest, she was always there to lift me up whenever I was feeling down. So, that was that. And then I wrote down some affirmations. I ain't gonna lie, my affirmations kind of suck right now because I can't really think of any. But so far, this is what I got. Here, I'll read some of it. So one that I wrote down that I just so happened to just see, I put fuck a record deal. And I put fuck a record deal because, I mean, even though I'm saying that I want to do this for a living and I want to, make an impact with my music and everything, I've decided that I'm not gonna make music with the intention of trying to get a record deal, because I mean the music business and the music industry is changing almost every fucking day. 1 minute it's drill rappers taking over, then the next minute it's sexy drill, then the next minute it's the auto-tune niggas, then the next minute it's the R&B, then it's the rap heads. It's all kinds of artists every day that are dominating in the industry. And like with my music, I don't know where my music would fit. I don't know what audience it would reach. I don't know what kind of people would gravitate towards the type of music that I make. I just know that I just make music, and I just hope people can feel it. So with that being said, I'm not doing this shit for a record deal. If I get a record deal, that'd be fucking great. But at the same time, I just want to make something that touches people. I want to make music that people can hear, and they can hear the emotion. They can hear the pain. They can hear the frustration. They can hear the years of feeling alone, from me and through the things that I'm saying, through my voice, through my singing, through my rapping, through all of that. Just something. I want to make something that, is not so polished and, all of that stuff. Like, I want my music to feel raw and to feel like this, raw and uncut. And so, with that, I've decided to take the idea of trying to get a record deal out of my mind, or at least I'm in the process of trying to do that. Another one that I made is, I'm trying to decide which one I want to focus on: making the best possible music that you can. So again, I want to make music that resonates with people. I want to make music that, can provide people with a feeling, a vibe, just something that people can just, when they hear it, they feel like they're going through an experience. And of course, I don't know the fucking formula to do that. I don't know, how to just, you know, put some shit on a beat and know for sure that people are going to resonate with it. So just to make it easier on myself, or, just to, you know, not overthink shit, because I'm very good for overthinking shit. I just I'm just in a position now where I'm trying to remind myself, listen, granted, yes, you want to make music that people can resonate with, but the only people that can decide that is the people themselves, the masses, whoever's listening to my music. My job as a creative, as an artist, is to make the best possible music that I fucking can. To make the best possible tracks that my fucking brain can think of, that my fucking voice can reach as far as octaves, the best punchlines and metaphors and flows and shit that I can come up with. That's my job. And I just got to let the universe and all that deal with the rest of that shit. Because that's all I can control. All I can control is the decisions that I make while I'm making what I make. So yeah. I'll give you guys one more, but I think I'm gonna go with this one. To be a good to be good, you have to accept being a bad artist at first. So to be a good artist, you have to accept being a bad artist at first. Now that one, I picked that one because that one is definitely like a challenge for me, because I'm always like I've always been a perfectionist. I've always been the type where, like, I've always been just trying to wait for the right moment to do something, or wait the right time. Even with this, like, I wanted to buy a whole new notebook and wait till I bought a book and everything like that, but I was just like, well, no, because then if I do all that, then the time is passed, and I could have been started and do all this. So I decided, what, fuck it, I'm just gonna start messy and just figure it out along the way. That's actually a good one. I think I want to write that down. Okay, so we got that. But yeah, okay, my bad. I accidentally fucking clicked the. I don't know what the fuck I clicked, but I set my notebook on some shit and it stopped the video. So I guess I'm just gonna have to do some editing and put this shit together. So if you're seeing this, yeah, this part was edited in. My bad. But anyways, what I was saying was, to be a good artist, you first have to accept being a bad artist. And for me, like I said before, that's hard for me, because I start feeling like if I'm not showing at least some type of potential or some type of talent with something, I'm done with it. I'm done. I don't want to do it no more. I feel like I'm wasting my time. I feel like it's stupid. That's my favorite line. This is stupid. And I'm just ready to do something else. And I don't think I'm a bad artist or a bad rapper or a bad singer, a bad songwriter and any of that stuff. But I definitely do think that there is room for improvement with my ideas, just like anybody. And I think that if I just keep doing it over time, and if I just can get past, like Wiz Khalifa said in one interview, getting my ass whooped with this shit, and I focus hard enough, I can come up with some shit. I can figure it out. And so, yeah, that's where that came from. Just accepting that even if I'm not bad, there's still room for improvement. I can be okay with being a good artist. That in order to be a great artist, I first have to be okay with being just a good artist. I have to be okay with people just looking at my work and thinking, oh, well, okay, it's good. Maybe not great, but it's good. And I gotta find that for myself. I gotta accept it for me. So, but yeah, and so it was talking about some artist dates and everything. I did the whole writing a letter to myself. Um, I did the 5 other lives that I would like to lead. I put a filmmaker, cartoon animation creator, screenwriter, actor, and a video game creator. And those are always things that I've always wanted to do, like, all that shit. But yeah, so I mean, so far, with this book after reading, I guess week 1, I don't know exactly if this goes by chapters or weeks, or if the weeks count as chapters, but after reading this and everything, and verbalizing it on here and everything, I feel like I have just now in front of this camera uh discovered some things about myself. Like I said, not nothing immense, big, but I feel like I've hit somewhere. So week 2, trying to, fuck is it? I don't know who the fuck this is. Sorry, got a little distracted. Ass on my phone. But anyways, but week two, let's see. Um, all right. So apparently, week 2 is recovering a sense of identity. This week addresses self definition as a major component of creative recovery. You might find yourself drawing new boundaries and staking out new territories as your personal needs, desires, and interests announce themselves. The essays and tools are aimed at moving you into your personal identity, a self defined you. All right, so after we finish out week 1, um, and we're gonna be moving into week 2, and then I guess that's when y'all will see me again to update y'all. So yeah. Peace.